We are going to be discussing a very crucial topic. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you have any question while I'm presenting, kindly drop it in the chat box. The topic before us this evening is hot weather and rabbit farming. As a matter of fact, this topic is long overdue. It's a topic that we should have discussed right at the beginning of the hot weather. But nevertheless, it's never too late. We can prepare against next season and even the remaining few days, this dry season. This lecture will be very, very important. Just a quick background about Bunera Academy for those that don't know what Bunera Academy stands for. Bunera Academy is built by experienced farmers, about 10 of us in the team currently, and the focus is on practical knowledge related to rabbit farming. We are trying to see how we can share from our wealth of experience and impact this knowledge into others so that they can make their rabbit farming more profitable. By way of introduction, heat is one of the biggest silent killers in rabbit farming. As a matter of fact, what prompted this topic was the fact that on a fateful afternoon, I went to my rabbit farm when I saw how the heat is affecting them so much. And we're going to see the effect of this heat on the rabbits as we move through the lecture. Also, many farmers experience losses without understanding why. Based on the events of my position, I I meet with a lot of rabbit farmers on a daily basis. And rabbit farmers share their experience with me. They're always telling me how my rabbit is having this. This afternoon, we got to the farm and then we noticed sudden death. And they keep wondering why. A lot of time, what they are looking at be the cause of the issue is not always the cause of the issue. Sometimes it's just the hot weather. Also, during this hot period, productivity would usually drop, and a lot of farmers are worried. Some people even go ahead to quit rabbit farming. So this presentation should serve as source of hope to farmers. The truth is, what you don't manage will cost you. I'm very sure even at the end of this presentation, a lot of us will still go ahead to overlook some of these things we are discussing because what I'm going to be discussing in this presentation are extremely simple things that we can easily overlook. The foundational knowledge is that we need to know what is the normal body temperature of a rabbit. For human is about 36.1 to 37.2 degrees Celsius. But for rabbits, it's about 38.5 to 40 degrees Celsius. Also, rabbits are homeothermic animals, meaning that um, rabbits do everything possible to ensure that their temperature is on a constant range. And the optimum temperature for environment for rabbits to thrive is about 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. You all will agree with me that if we take a thermometer and measure most of the rabbit farms we have, they are usually above this temperature. In fact, if you check the weather forecast, or an average, sometimes we hit as high as 28 to 29 degrees Celsius. Now, sometimes we even go above 30 degrees Celsius, that's the environmental temperature. And this poses a lot of risk, particularly heat stress risk on our rabbits. So, what do rabbits do in their own capacity to cool themselves? They lose heat through radiation, conduction, convection. By conduction, you see them, they try to lie close to the wall of the cage so that heat from their body can be transferred out. Unlike human, that we humans can sweat, rabbits don't sweat. So they are unable to lose um, their body temperature through sweating. And also, you will notice that for rabbits, the amount of fur you see on their ears is little, or let me say negligible. And that's because God has created it to be a main cooling organ. And the process is done through vasodilation. So that's why you see their ear has little or no fur. That's because that's their own cooling organ. So what is heat stress? Heat stress occurs when um, the amount of heat gained from the environment is more than the amount of heat lost to the environment. This results into increase in body temperature and then some imbalances in the systems that we see along as we go forward. So what are the physiological response that we can see in rabbits? You will see that when the environmental temperature rises, there is increased rate of breath. There's rapid breathing. That is what we see as panting. There's also increased heart rate. If you touch the rabbit, you can visually feel how fast the heart is beating. Then also there's increased flow of blood to the ears. For some rabbit breeds like New Zealand, that they are they are pure whites, and you can almost see that their hair becomes pinkish during heat, when there is during hot period. This is because of the increased flow of blood to the hair, and that's because we are trying to do everything possible to eliminate the heat. The consequence of all of this is that the energy they are supposed to use to grow is diverted. All the energy that is required for reproduction is diverted into trying to thermoregulate. Now, here are some of the consequences of hot period. There is increased cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone responsible for stress. There's reduced metabolism, and this is what actually slow down the growth of rabbits. A lot of time during this hot period, people have complained that these rabbits keep eating and they are not gaining any significant weight. Also, there's reduced immunity. Um, Reduced immunity. There are certain opportunistic infections that the rabbits on a normal day should be able to fight against. But because of reduced immunity, rabbits are unable to fight against this infection. And that's why we see during this period, a lot of rabbits come down with what we call snuffles. Get to your farm, and then you see your rabbit sneezing, trying to get rid of one thing or the other. Certain ailments that shouldn't claim the life of our rabbit are actually claiming the life of our rabbit because of reduced immunity. And ultimately, the feed conversion efficiency drops. Now, this is the effect on feeding. Now, look at this rabbit. This rabbit is constantly trying to clean the mouth. You cannot expect that this kind of rabbits will pay attention to food. And ultimately, the effect of hot weather on rabbits includes reduced appetite. You notice that if you usually feed your rabbits with one food thing, you notice that they barely eat half of the feed that they would usually consume. So there's a drastic drop in their appetite. I heard of people complain to me and say, my rabbits are not eating, my rabbits are not doing that, what's happening? And then start getting worried. Sometimes it might just be the effect of the hot weather. Also, there is poor digestion. The energy they are supposed to channel into digesting their feed, they are channeling into thermoregulation. That consequently slow down their growth, their growth, and ultimately this reduce the profitability of the business, because a rabbit that's supposed to gain a certain weight at a particular period of time is not gaining the weight. Now, for reproduction, a lot of farmers during this period would agree with me that they've experienced a reduced breeding rate in their farm. And this is just to let them know that the possible reason for this factor you are experiencing in your farm could be the hot weather. Because during hot period, the male rabbit, that's the box, the sperm quality reduces, and then the motility of the sperm also reduces, and then this can negatively impact reproduction. Also for the females, that's those, there's reduced ovulation. So you mate your rabbit, and then in the next 30 days you are expecting that they will give birth, but you are not seeing anything. And then there's also possibility of pregnancy failure. So even those rabbits that are lucky to conceive during this period, you notice that some of them might have stillbirth, that is, they give birth and all the kids are dead. So it might be the reason why your rabbits are not getting pregnant. There's also the risk of mortality. At the cell level, there could be enzyme disruption, organs are stressed. I mean, there's increased heart rate. You can literally see it, not even feel it. You see your the rabbit, the way they are breathing during hot period, you can literally see that the heart is beating heavier than usual. And this could be responsible for the sudden death you are seeing. So it can kill faster than disease. A very ugly experience that came to mind was when someone was trying to send rabbit to me, and the rabbits were packed in the carton, only for me to open the carton, and the three rabbits in the carton were all dead, just short distance, and that was not even a long distance. So, which means during this period of hot weather, it's important that transportation of rabbits is highly discouraged during the hot period of the day. So it's either we do it very early in the morning or later in the evening. So what are the signs of this stress? You would see that the rabbit will be panting, the rabbit will be weak. Now, sometimes you see your rabbit stretching and you think probably they are having a good time. No, it's not all the time that they're having a good time when they stretch. It's just a way of them trying to dissipate the heat in their body. You also experience drooling. This picture was taken on my farm. You can see something that looks like saliva under the chin of the rabbit. So that was drooling. And this in itself can trigger snuffle if care is not taken. And then this reduces the activity of the rabbits. So we see that look at the rabbit lying down. Rabbit that is supposed to be eating, enjoying their meal, they are just lying down, they are inactive. See them stretching, um, panting, and they reduce movement to conserve energy. So all these things you are seeing is not because the rabbit like to be in this way. If you see rabbits when the weather is not hot, they are very playful animal. They are very social animal. They are always around everywhere. So when you see a rabbit lying down like this and you feel this is how rabbit should be, no, this is a survival response. So a lot of time people say, I have shed over my rabbit, so I shouldn't have problem of heat. That's not true. That's not true. A lot of times you can have shed over your rabbit and might still be going through heat stress. And that's because when you put a shed over your rabbit, you might succeed in reducing the temperature. You might succeed in reducing the direct impact of sunlight, but there are also other factors you need to consider. You need to also look at the humidity of the environment. So what causes heat load is not just the temperature, it's a combination of temperature and humidity. So which means that it is not sufficient for you to just shed your rabbit. There must be cross ventilation to reduce the humidity, because it is when you reduce both humidity and temperature that you can reduce the heat load. So poor ventilation worsens humidity. So what are the common mistakes that farmer makes? Poor ventilation, overcrowding, rabbits rooms where you should have just one rabbit, then you end up having two rabbits. That's overcrowding. Or you have cages arranged in very compact space. Then also during this period, wrong feeding time. In the next slide, I'm telling us what when is the right time to feed our rabbits during hot weather. Then also fetching water from hot source. So maybe you have a bucket of water that you placed outside and the water itself is already getting warm. Then still go ahead and pour that for the rabbits. That could be detrimental to the rabbits. Then lastly, ignoring the early sign. So you see your rabbit stretching, see your rabbit panting, and then you feel like, oh, these rabbits they are enjoying themselves. No, those are survival responses and you should pay attention. See how being drooling and then you're just looking at it and you're not doing anything. That means you are ignoring the signs. So what are the practical solutions? This is about the most important part of this presentation. The success of a rabbit farm begins from the housing. A lot of us, we already got it wrong from our housing. There's just after building cage. We feel once we build cage, they are done. No, that's part of the beginning of setting up a farm is very, very important. So you need good airflow. You need to ensure that heat is not trapped. So you need to consider the kind of roofing sheet you are using. Ensure that the roofing sheet is not a type that trap heat. Then you need to also look at the water. It should be clean and cool and always available. Thank God for the advent of nipple drinker, where water can easily flow through the pipe. So in the afternoon, you can open up the tap, flush out the water, and then refill it with a cool one. Then as for feeding, during this hot period, the best time to feed your rabbit is early in the morning or late in the evening. Early in the morning or late in the evening. Cooling. So you can improve airflow and then also you can decide to wet the floor um, hot afternoon. And in fact, you can take a step further for the cooling. You can provide fan on your farm. I visited a farmer and then I saw the farmer using fan. You can laugh at the farmer and say, "Ah, why are you so serious with this thing?" But he's the only one that can explain what he has gone through. Just this afternoon, I was discussing with the rabbit farmer and then he explained how between January and now he has lost over 60 rabbits to eat. So imagine if you calculate the cost of 60 rabbits and then you calculate the cost of getting a fan, a solar fan, you will see that at the end of the day, it's smart to get a fan to cool your rabbits. Nutritional strategy too is very important. During this period, you need to increase the fiber, reduce the feed content that would increase heat load. There are some feed content that increase heat load. For instance, if you have feed that has high fat content, it can increase the heat load feed and also it can slow down the digestion. So during this period, you need to do more fiber. Give your rabbits a, if you can't give them a, increase the fiber content of their feed so that their digestibility can be improved. Then on a daily basis, ensure that you monitor your rabbits, uh, reduce stress handling. This is not the time to carry your rabbit and be playing around. Um, You need to act early, and ultimately prevention is very, very important. You can see this rabbit here, the picture I shared here. This very afternoon, I was walking from afar, and then by the time I walked close to the cage, I was scared. I thought the rabbit was dead. I thought the rabbit was scared until I touched it and I said, okay, the rabbit is still alive. This is the impact of heat on rabbits. So during feed heat, we observe reduced feeding, we observe reduced breathing. What we need to do is to improve airflow, adjust feeding time, then we'll see that the performance of our rabbit increase. In summary, heat is predictable. Heat is predictable, so there's no excuse. The losses from heat are preventable, and how we manage all of this determines the success. A smart farmer prepares before heat strikes. So it is not when it starts experiencing heat that we start looking for solution. Right from now, we need to start looking for solution. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening. Um, this will be the end of my presentation. So at this point, I will welcome comments, um, question, and yeah, can share experience. Somebody asked, would ice block in water be recommended? Okay, so now if you if the question is about dropping ice block in their drinking water, that would not be recommended. However, you can drop ice block in a container or in a towel and place it in their room. Instinctively, they'll go and lie down beside the ice block. So that is okay, but not drop it directly in their water because their water shouldn't be too cold. Shouldn't be too cold. So dropping it in their water might not be advisable, but you can place the ice block towel and place it in their room. You can also get a water bottle, cool the water bottle, maybe ice the water bottle and place it in their room.
Good evening.
Yeah, Mr. Torilope Oladele, good to have you here.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
My own contribution is that, well, you have all said well. All what you presented, in fact, is a life-saving lecture to all farmers. But some things I don't even know before I am now understanding. So my own contribution is that we farmers should take into consideration hot weathers, because some farmers always complain that where breeding is not successful, this and that, animals are not doing well. So we should always take into consideration the hot weather. So I really enjoyed the class. Thanks for the presentation.
I think I think something I've taken from today's lesson is watching out for the rabbit panting. To me, before that might have just been normal animal behavior, but now when I see that happening, I think I'll pay closer attention to, is it normal behavior or is it a rabbit signs of overheating?
Nice one, Mr. Elijah. Nice contribution. So you are very right. A lot of time we think planting is just the usual behavior, but sometimes it's just a rabbit telling us this heat is much. So it's not all planting that is normal. And then to be more observant, you can go very early in the morning, see how they plant, then go later in the evening and hear the plant. See that is not different. I want to sincerely appreciate everyone for taking out time to join this lecture. I really appreciate Thank you so